Well, hello everyone. You have right here of talking about right here of talk about with home right here, and how many of us have read any articles whenever it comes to home, and a lot of times you always want to know too that we all know what home means, and even though if we're talking about maybe a welcome home or something like that, or your home or something like that, or maybe if it's honey I'm home or something like that, but a lot of times it's always like that you always want to know too that how often do you do friends and family and anybody else how often are they going to use home as to where they that this is a place it's a place where you feel most comfortable with with doing your or like everybody might say that whenever you do you whenever you do hear home a lot of times that you're always want to know too that yeah, that's the place where you spend most of your time at, and that's the place where you feel more comfortable working at, and then maybe that like everybody might say that whenever it comes to home, right? But still that but let's just say that if you were to buy a greeting card, that says something like that, to where it talks about, welcome home, something like that right there. And a lot of times it's like you always want to know too that when we do speak about home, though, that you're thinking that okay, yeah, that home, and then let's just say if it is welcome home, or maybe if it is something like home, and so it's like yeah, so whenever you do think about that, and you're always thinking too that yeah, that's usually recognized as a place where you live, right? Or maybe the place where you spend most of your time after something like that. But how often are we really going to maybe think about is just toward all the hard work that you put into something, for sure, and you're thinking that okay, yeah, that you put a lot of hard work into something, and want to know too that every time you back whenever you were a young school kid, that the first thing that you saw right here was talk about home right here. So yeah, almost everybody's going to look forward to hearing the word home, and what home pretty much means is to word that whenever you are put to work on all that, and people might say that that home is something that you are really are going to look forward to, right? Or maybe home is also another way of stating as to where that this is exactly where you belong, is that you're here at home, and so each time it seems like that whenever you do think about that, for sure, and you're always want to know too that whenever you do speak about home, could you also maybe think about home page or something like that? Home, maybe home on a farm or something like that. But still, but I'll go in right here. I'm talking about. Can you explain in full detail why home makes you feel belong to when there's such a place? And let's just say that a place where you spend most a place where you spend most of your time, but one thing about home we can all think about. Well, we can all think about. Yeah, home is supposed to mean home is supposed to also mean that looking forward. So how many of us have really thought about that? The next opportunity, and in case if we're all want to know too that what opportunity are we talking about? Well, I'm also talking about that that try and get that in there. But really, that every time you do think about home, and want to know too what exactly does that really mean when we do speak about home? No, and you're thinking that okay, yeah, that home pretty much means is that yeah, a place where you really enjoy most. Could it also be? Could it also mean to where that yeah that to where that you're in an environment to where everybody else welcomes you as part of the team, or it could also mean is to where like everybody might say that when we're talking about for Facebook right here, Facebook Home right here, and do you think that more likely it means that yeah that you're able to recognize all most of all what you see right here, based on your work and based on everything from what you do, and maybe if it's a membership team or something like that, or maybe if it's maybe yeah sponsored by the company or something like that, and so that is why it seems like that whenever you do think about that, and you want to know too that whenever it comes to home, no, and yeah, so it's like so a lot of times you're always thinking as to where it really why and whenever we hear the word home, by the way, that what's the first thing that's really going to come to your mind whenever you do think about home? I'm like, yeah, that's where my stuff is, or that yeah, that's where you spend most of your time at, and so yeah, so it's like so every time you do think about home, no, and you're 102 that yeah, that you go to your Facebook page, but there's going to be what's called the home page, and maybe if it's going to be there's going to be another page that you might navigate to and all, but still that but on the other hand that when we do speak about home, no, that everybody might say that talking about home, that you're thinking in general that whenever you do speak about home, that you're also thinking that yeah that yeah whenever I was young, a lot of times it was like yeah that most of us would look forward to a lot of opportunities, and every time you do hear the word home, you're always thinking as to where that the place yeah that from where yeah from like yeah from where you came from, and also it could there could be a lot of definitions from how you can describe it really, but really that can you also describe it as another way of saying as to where that yeah that the place where you feel welcome most of the time, and to me though I just really think that that's another way of how you want to put it, is that to where that whenever you are at home, that you do feel welcome most of the time, and so everybody might say that yeah that whenever you are working at home, or maybe whenever you are at home, that it seems like a lot of times is that yeah that you have access to all your stuff, and maybe a lot of things from what you do most of the time are there at home, and so yeah that so like everybody might say that that that's the place where you spend where your stuff is, and maybe that where you spend most of your time, but still that how can we also use it as another way of saying this to where that yeah home sweet home, and so in case if anybody's want to know too that we've heard that before, and you're always want to know too that okay yeah that you've heard of that, but you're also you're also want to know too that really what is so sweet about that whenever it comes to home, and home sweet home, and so like anybody say if it's really sweet, or like everybody might say that another word that you might have for that could also be about is that yeah the home if it's something like maybe the home the home no like yeah home, if it's not going to be a home sweet home, it's going to be called home grade home or something like that, or if it's maybe going to be the home beyond home or something like that. Like how many of us are really going to use that word and phrase? to where talking about home beyond home or something like that. Home beyond home. And so you're warned to where, okay, yeah, home beyond home. Home beyond home. So you're warned too that yeah, when we do speak about home beyond home, right? And you're thinking that whenever it comes to home beyond home, and you're warned too that okay, yeah, home beyond home, right here. But really, that whenever you do think about home beyond home, right there. But still, it's like whenever you do think about that, and you're warned too that another way of how you want to describe home right here. But I'll go ahead and talk right here, talking about home right here. But still, that yeah, if you were to use that right there as the home page right there, use it as the home page right there, and you're 102 that yeah, home page right there. Use it as the home page right there, but it sure seems that way that could you also look at that as to where that's the place where you also have your meetings, by the way. People might say that yeah, anywhere you meet, by the way, that's another place where you call home. So the place where you met, even if it is, yeah, even if it is an anniversary or a reunion, that you're going to go ahead and call that place your home just because that's where you met, and so it sure seems that way. That when we talk about Facebook Home right here, that everybody might say that yeah, you're going to look forward to looking at this source of memory right here, just because that. That yeah, for what you're most grateful for whenever you do look at that, and 102 that from all the hard work that you put into something, and you're thinking that hey, that you look forward to going back to that part, like yeah, to that portion of the room, or maybe that to your office area there, back from where you started, or maybe that's the place where you miss the most and all that, just because that's where I'm like yeah, it's something that you look forward to, most of the time. So each time you think about that, and you're aware too that when we do speak about home, but you think about Facebook page right here, and one of those is about Facebook Home right here, and you're thinking that hey, that whenever you do speak about home, that everybody might think that yeah, that back whenever you were a kid, that used to be about is that you look forward to being able to go home, and you'd yeah, to go home and to where you can go ahead and relax and play your games and then have some fun. I'm like, oh yeah, that's where your stuff is, right? But it sure seems that way that really, how can really anybody explain about when we talk about home that home is also another place from what's sponsored by yeah, whenever it comes to mascots, whenever it comes to a school, maybe whenever it comes to the company or something like that. And that's why it seems like everybody might say that why do you think that whenever you do speak about home, why do you think that everybody might even say too that that's the place where you do feel like you belong there. That like everybody might say that whenever you do speak about home, that that's another way of saying this to where that's a place where a lot of people really like seeing you, and where most of your work is sponsored by and all that. So that's why it seems like different a lot of explanations about how to describe home. But still, it's like whenever you do visit a website most of the time, it seems like that to where that if you set a home page to where that you have it set a certain way, that everybody would say that you would have it set that way just because of the fact that this is where you spend most of your time. So like let's just say that if you were to go away from the page for a while, or maybe if you were to go somewhere else, maybe for a few minutes or something like that, you would want to set a home page, or you would want to set a portion of like, you would use home as like another way of saying this, toward it that a place where you miss the most and the place that where you spend most of your time. And so different ways of how you want to describe that for sure. But everybody would say too that whenever you do think about that, and you're 102, that whenever you do speak about home, that do you think that is more likely, that's the place where you came from? Is that really? Could you really explain to anybody about if that's where you came from, or the place where you feel the most comfortable working at? And so half the time you're thinking as to where that when we do speak about home, though, but you're warned to where that every time you do speak about home, that you know that any doctor would probably even say too that could you also recognize that as another place where where you spend most of your time, but then also something to look forward to most of the time, maybe a place to where that you really feel well, to where that everybody might even say too that whenever you do speak about home, that for what's how is it recognized? A place where it's recognized, and that you really you're able to do a lot of your work. You're able to do a lot of work, and maybe that's where you spend most of your time at. And so, like everybody might say that would you possibly agree as to where it's a place where you spend most of your time at. For the most part, that's usually the best key definition for that, is talking about the place where you spend most of your time at. Where your stuff is, or maybe but still but can you really fully explain the details to why home makes you feel like you belong there at that place? And people might say that for the most part, that whenever you do speak about home, that people might even say too that can you really explain that whenever it comes to talking about home? That that's another way of saying is to where that that's the place to where that you feel you feel recognized most of the time. You feel like you feel most comfortable at. But like everybody else might even say too that whenever you do speak about home, especially whenever it comes to Facebook, that you're thinking that you had this you want to make it look a little bit more like something that to where that you can actually remember what it looks like. You remember it, and then you actually like for how it's pronounced. And so homepage right here, like everybody might say that whenever you do if you were to actually have a homepage set like maybe like on Facebook, though, everybody might say that if you get real busy with something, for sure you would want to use something like that, mainly because that you actually you want to you one of your favorite items, and let's just say if you recognize it just by looking at it, and maybe just by a lot of your favorite things are, maybe a lot of your good and interesting hobbies are, or something like that, are located right there. So home could be described in a lot of ways, for sure, right? So that's why it seems that way, to where that every time you do think about it, that you think it's another way of how you want to describe is to where that's the place where you live, or like everybody else would say is to where that's the place where you spend most of your time. But on your hand, that you always want to know too that home of my own, and that's another thing that I want to talk about too. That I'll go ahead and like everybody might say that if you want to go ahead and put that right there. It sounds a little bit more like insurance or something like that, right? Everybody might say if you're going to be doing business or something like that. Home of my own. So if you were to say that right there, and let's just say that if anybody who's going to be going to your Facebook page for sure is able to read that, and then they're able to recognize what that says right there, and that you're 102, that yeah, home of my own right there, and that you're 102, that yeah, home of my own right there. I'll go and put that right up there. Put that right up there, and then if anything, yeah, this is what I can do here. But home of my own, yeah, like everybody might say that you possibly like here. Oh, I know it. I'm just trying to style it up a little bit more, but still, on your hand, that I'm just trying to style it up a little bit more. Yeah, home of my own. So if you actually were to say that, like on the top of the page right there, and everybody might say that, yeah, home of your own, home of my own, and so really, that why do you think, anybody might even say too that, why do you think that you would want to, in case of anybody that might want to know too, that whenever you do mention that, and let's just say if it's maybe for an insurance page or something like that, and 102, like yeah, people might say that, yeah, especially if it's supposed to be for an insurance page or something like that. Yeah. Oh, I'm just trying to get it right there, but anyway, yeah, I'm like, you can't really see that very well, can you? I'm like, I can go ahead and try to change that up a little bit more, but yeah, home of my own right here. So whenever you do think about that, and you're 102, that yeah, that every time you do think about all the hard work that you put into something, for sure, that the first thing that you think about is that yeah, home. Is it home of my own or something like that? So it's like, yeah. So whenever you do, if you were actually were to go to an actual Facebook page, for sure, go to your Facebook page, and let's just say that people might say as to where it, how do you think, the way that you look at that right there, especially if it's going to maybe be in your favorite style and your favorite color, that why do you think that, it would make you feel a little bit more comfortable that if you could say something like that, your home of your own or something like that. Back whenever I was a kid, I think that yeah, that anything of your own seemed to be a little bit more exciting than compared to maybe if you had to share it with somebody, or maybe like everybody else would say that even if you don't, even if you do have to share it with somebody, that you're always want to know too that sharing with somebody else, that why do you think that there's a lot of things that you do look forward to whenever it comes to having your own stuff, and having your own, right? And like everybody might say that, yeah, does that mean that you have more space, or maybe that you have, your own, yeah, you got a few of your own appliances and maybe your own toys or something like that. But so it's like, yeah, so like each time you do think about that, and you're always thinking that 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 there's something about that you really look forward to, that you miss a lot, and then that the fact that that you really that you're looking forward to you having that opportunity, right? And then that's why it seems that to where that whenever you do think about Facebook a lot of times, that you would say those words such as home of my own or something like that, and so it's like, yeah, you having your own toys, and maybe having your own room, and maybe your own bathroom or something like that, but still that so you're always want to know too that when we do speak about home, that yeah, a place where you're recognized most of the time and all, but still, it's like So really, that do we know of a greeting card where you can have that ability to where that you can actually mention about, yeah, welcome home or something like that. If you actually, maybe for a graduation present or something like that, that you can actually tell somebody that, hey, welcome home or something like that, and a home of your own or something like that. Well, yeah, congratulations, and yeah, that's one thing that I want to also put right here too, is that to talk about congratulations right here, and yeah, everybody might even say too to try to spell congratulations right there. But you're 102 that here I'll go and write it over here. Terms of use right there. Yeah, yeah, congratulations. Yeah, and I tell you one thing, everybody, that yeah, especially if you break that down, like you really, in case if anybody's want to know too, that how many of us do you think? How many of us do you want to know too? Do you know how to spell congratulations? I'm like, sometimes I do. Sometimes I have a hard time trying to spell it, by the way, and especially if you're scrambling around, that you're 102, you're trying to get that in there. And you say, yeah, you're trying to get that in there somewhere. And, so it's like, yeah, so whenever you do speak about that, and so that's why it seems like, everybody would say that, yeah, congratulations right there. And, so yeah, so if you would actually be working on something for sure, like everybody might say that yeah, congratulations, and most of the time you would see an exclamation mark right there, exclamation point right there, but still that I'm trying to get that in there, but still, so it's like yeah, so whenever you do see something like this, I'm trying to slow down here, but so whenever you do see something like that right there, I'll go and put that right there, so. Anyhow, that trying to get congratulations in there, but it's like yeah, so all the hard work that you put into something for sure, that everybody might say that yeah, you're trying to spell congratulations, and everybody would say that do you think that maybe that congrat right there, congratulations, and really that in case of anybody that may want to know too that you know, yeah, graduation seems to be a lot easier to pronounce than compared to congratulations. For whatever reason that you would maybe think that there's a D in there for any reason at all. Why isn't there a D in there? Like I'm used to saying graduate. I'm used to saying graduate or something like that, but congratulations. I'm like that's something everybody say, are you really ever really going to figure that out? Whenever it comes to putting a lot of hard work into something, and I want to know too that why is it that graduate congratulations is not in whenever you talk about for graduate right here. So let's just say if this was a greeting card right here, and if you were to try to write on there congratulate, I'm like yeah, on to the graduate or something like that, and so yeah, so every time you do think about that, in your word to where that you to the graduate or something like that, and I mean I can spell it too, but like everybody might say that every time you do think about that, and you're always 102, you're used to saying graduate right here, the graduate right there, and congratulations to the graduate right there, and congratulations graduate right there, and see what's going on with that right there. So yeah, so I'm like every time you do think about that, I'm like yeah, pronouns, but still, so it's like when we do speak about home, by the way, that it's like that yeah, whenever you put more hard work into something for sure, and everybody might say that most of the time that are you really what can we really explain to anybody, any of our kids about that? Any greeting card that you do get, that the more hard work that you put into something, and you're like, yeah, you run into, you may have some difficult times too, most of the time, but still that whenever it comes to succeeding and whenever it comes to working hard on something for sure, that you're always want to know too that yeah, that the first thing that's going to come to your mind for sure is that how did you do this last time? Because it seems to be a lot harder this time, just to be able to do that, and so it sure seems that way. That yeah, everybody else is maybe going to ask that question too. Are you really going to ask that question to where last time, how did you do this? So yeah, how did you do this the last time you tried? Like so, yeah, so every time you do think about that, and you always want to know too that why does that seem to be a question right there? Like everybody might say that yeah, whenever it comes to involvement in time right here. In case if anybody's want to know too that any hard work that you put into something, by the way, that it seems to be a lot harder. It's a lot harder this time than compared to what it was the last time. What is a good explanation about that? Any parents might even want to know too that how do you really explain that? Whenever it comes to showing somebody something, and whenever it comes to working on something, that the first thing that they're going to be asking is to where that how did you do this last time? And yeah, so it's like you put that into like a scenario, and then after you put in all the hard work right here, and it's like your congratulations to the graduate, and so every time you do think about that, and you always want to know too that why was it so hard for you there at the beginning, and some people would say that I don't really even remember how I did it the last time, or I don't really remember what I was really struggling with, but just knowing that for how it was all put together, right? But every time you do think about that, and you always want to know too that whenever you think about congratulations, graduate, do you really necessarily think about is to where welcome home. So that's another thing that you can maybe think about is that when we do speak about home, though home of my own, and but still, but we do speak about graduates right here. Congratulations to the graduate right here, and so every time you think about that, and you always want to know too that a lot of the hard work that you put into something, and you're thinking that okay, yeah, that the more hard work that you put into something for sure, but people might even want to know too that you really, why does it seem to be a lot? It seemed to be a lot easier this time than compared to what it was the last time. Why is that? Well, I guess that's a whole part about learning something new, right? But in a lot of ways, like everybody might say that put a few challenges and maybe a lot of difficulties. Everybody might say that well, to make you feel a little bit more at home, that we'll go ahead and give you some guides or something like that, or give you something to study with or something like that. But still, it's like every time you do think about that for sure, that you always want to know too that whenever you do think about home, that you really that's the place where you came from, or like everybody else might say, it's another place to where that yeah that it's a place where you spend most of your time. But like everybody else might say that whenever you do think about that, and you're thinking this toward okay, yeah, that you think about a lot of your achievements and everything, but still whenever you do think about Facebook a lot of times too, and you want to know too that yeah, do you really want to be reminded about a lot of those moments in time? The way I think about too that whenever you think about the Facebook page right there, and people might say that yeah, that you want to look at that and kind of recognize it as to where it's something, anything that you want to share, right? But on the other hand, it's like just to celebrate the new year, right? And anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.